Hey, what up, everybody? It's CM here with the common sense perspective. Really just trying to bring about things that are going on. And we need to bring some common sense to all this because there's a lot of shit that's going on out there. And I'm really just trying to just really just talk about it and at the same time make some sense of it. And so with that, I really wanted to talk about something I saw, and it's fitting to talk about it because, well, it's happening right now in the United States. And to me, I think, what they say, that saying, the apple doesn't fall very far from the tree. If you really look at the progressive tree, all right, so that's a hint for you. So let's get into it here, all right. So let's talk about New York, all right. New York is a mess. All right, New York is trash, and I hate to say that because New York can be a great place, can be, but it's just been so bad that it's like, why would anybody want to go there with the just progressiveness that's been happening in New York? It's just as bad as San Francisco, but they're more in New York. It's just more of a bigger mess because of their sanctuariness of things, right? The allowing all the illegals to come in and really just essentially taking over New York, and a lot of progressiveness that goes along with that, right? The no cash bails, what do you call those felony offenses that are 950 bucks or above, right? So if you are 950 bucks or less, I mean, it's just more like, hey, catch and release, boom, there you go. Here's a slap on the wrist. Don't do it again. Of course, they're going to do it again and again and again because they know they're going to get away with it, right? Plus, when you really go dig deep into the root of who is really running the city and all that, right? You have soft DA like Alvin Bragg, who drops literally everything and doesn't really charge anybody anything. All right, but only go after Trump. So you have soft ass DAs such as him, and really that just lets crime go out of control, right? Migrant crimes are going crazy, and the list goes on and on, right? Um, when you see shit like the debit card deal that Eric Adams did with a no bid deal and just went ahead and just went with this debit card deal because he said that it was money that was going to be spent anyways, but it's just being spent in a better way, which I don't see how. But a no bid deal to go with this particular credit card or debit card company to help really fund illegals with a debit card. You can kind of see the corruption there because obviously he's being paid something to take on this deal, as being that it's a no bid deal. So I mean, you got shit like that, right? Again, the city's a mess. You know, I mean, you could literally go funnel it all the way up to the governor. Governor is trash too. Had Kathy Hochul, and of course she was, tolerate and stand by sanctuary state, you know, madness. And when you really look at what's truly happening here, there's a lot of corruption going on here, right? And it's been going on for months in terms of the investigation by the feds, behind the scenes that's been happening. Yeah, it's been reported, but at the same time, it's been happening behind the scenes, right? A lot of Eric Adams people have been either investigated, been searched through warrants. There's so many other things that are happening among Eric Adams people, right? Associates, anybody that's worked with him, his inner circle, even Eric Adams himself, has gotten searched. his assistants, everybody, right? In terms of whatever it is that they're looking for. But obviously, there's a big scandal going on, and the corruption is running so deep. But again, I wouldn't doubt if it goes straight to the governor as well. But with all this, there is calls for Adams to step down, right, to resign, because of all this stuff going on. And it's not only the corruption and scandal that's going on, but just straight up his performance. It's terrible. It sucks. All right. New York is terrible because of its progressiveness, and Eric Adams pushes that progressive line. And it's funny because being that he had a law enforcement background, I mean, it's a negative to be progressive and be former law enforcement, because progressiveness doesn't support law enforcement. And that's why I don't understand when people want to support, especially on law enforcement, support Democrats and progressives, because of the fact that they don't support law enforcement. They're all about defunding the police, making excuses for why they don't have enough police officers, making excuses for letting criminals have their ways and go about their business, and you can't do nothing about it, right? Soft on crime. And so with that, let me bring you this news clip, right? This is the latest news clip that I just spoke about, and ooh la la.
For Mayor Adams to resign. This as several of his top aides are caught up in federal investigations.
All right, Fox 5's Morgan Mackay was at City Hall this morning to ask some tough questions and joins us now with what you found out. Morgan.
Stephen, Natasha, 3 lawmakers are now calling on Mayor Eric Adams to step down, but he says that's not going to happen, even as his...
That's Eric Adams' ego talking right there. I'm not stepping down, right? It's not going to happen, right? But as the pressure continues to build, because all these people are resigning left and right, there's going to be even bigger pressure for him to step down. And I think given it some more time, he will step down.
Top legal advisor resigned over the weekend.
This mayor has to resign.
City Councilwoman Tiffany Caban is now the first city council member to call on Mayor Eric Adams to resign following numerous federal investigations. The mayor has not been charged in connection with any of these federal inquiries, but Caban says that...
But there's something to that, right? They wouldn't do these federal inquiries if there wasn't any smoke to it, right? When there's smoke, there's fire. There's something going on, and it just hasn't been revealed yet. And so, to me, that's where everything lies. All these federal investigations don't just kind of just come out and happen out of nowhere. Especially when you have all of these different high-level people that works within the Eric Adams administration in New York resigning. There's something to that.
That it has been a pattern of mismanagement.
It's not just that more than 15 of his associates are being investigated, but it's also, a culmination of his other failures of leadership.
There are believed to be at least 4 federal investigations targeting the mayor and his top aides. This includes the investigation that prompted the former NYPD Police Commissioner Edward Caban to resign last week. Federal investigators are reportedly looking into whether Caban's twin brother sold police protection to nightlife businesses.
It was said that Commissioner, as soon as they seized his phone, he resigned.
Several NYPD executives have also been caught up in that investigation and had to turn over their phones to the FBI. Additionally, federal prosecutors are also reportedly investigating 2 deputy mayors, a top Adams aide, the school's chancellor, and Adams' campaign for other alleged corruption violations. In a stunning move over the weekend, Adams' chief legal advisor, Lisa Zornberg, also abruptly quit. And in her very short letter to the mayor, she said, quote, "I have concluded that I can no longer effectively serve in my position." According to numerous...
Because she can't defend it. That's the thing about it. She can't defend the craziness that's happening here. Whatever the feds are finding, I think she knows her back is going to be against the wall soon, and she doesn't want to be a part of this mess and let Eric Adams swim on his own and be like, I'm out of this shit.
Outlet Zornberg quit over frustration that the mayor would not fire some of his aides that are caught up in these federal investigations.
She has been
Of course not. That's the thing about Democrats and progressives, right? They don't fire people. As bad as things can be, they don't fire people.
Advisor. There are many things she advised us on, and we moved on. But I'm not going to go into the private conversations.
2 state lawmakers are also calling on Adams to resign. State Senator Julia Salazar and State Assemblywoman Emily Gallagher.
Eric Adams is failing at his job. His administration is rampant with.
And she's a Democrat too, so because New York is heavily Democrat, just like how California is. It's a super majority of Democrat. New York is kind of the same way. So if you have your own people calling for you to resign or get fired, that really is telling here, right?
With serious scandal, and that's a sign of poor management.
If the mayor were to resign, which he has insisted he would not, public advocate Jumaane Williams would step in as temporary mayor. Williams says that is not something he is focused on, but called the growing number of investigations around Adams exhausting.
I don't think any of us in our lifetime or our parents' lifetime has seen anything like this.
Of course you haven't seen anything like this. You know why? Because that's how the game is played here, right? That, it's only where you get caught, that's where the game is over, right? They were trying to play this thing out. When you think about it, right, the whole illegal migrant thing is all just a game, right? The corruption in that in itself, when you're looking at the NGOs and how these non-governmental organizations can just go on in and do these sort of things for the migrants and provide these services and all these assistance and all that, but you think that it's just for free to these politicians? No. There's a little kickback for allowing the NGOs to do what they do because of the kickback that these politicians get. And then that's where the corruption is right there, because it's a whole lot of money that is bankrolled in. That's why Eric Adams just kicks back and just lets it happen, right? That's how the game is played when it comes to politicians, is that it's where the money is, right? Whoever these things are that pays the money, that's the agenda that's going to be pushed. And that's the way the game is played with the politicians. That's how corrupt they are, especially, I wouldn't say, I can't really speak for, all politicians, but especially Democratic politicians, they're all dirty. California is showing that as well.
It's shocking. It's stunning. And I don't think we're getting the appropriate response for how heavy this actually is.
And the nonprofit news outlet The City is also just now reporting that a high-level NYPD official whose phone was confiscated by the FBI in a federal corruption probe is also now leaving the force.
Yeah, interesting. Just sort of ratchets up a little bit. Yeah, so talk to us exactly how much pressure do you think the mayor is under to resign, and is that just expected to grow in the coming days and weeks?
The New York Times had an article over the weekend that said it's been since 1932 since the mayor has seen 3 police commissioners, and the mayor at that time, Mayor Walker, resigned due to corruption. So this is a stunning development, and to Jumaane Williams' point, some council members and state lawmakers feel like Adams just isn't taking it as seriously as he should be. Now, the U.S. Attorney Damian Williams today even said in his press conference, when he was asked, what do you tell New Yorkers? There's just so much going on right now, so many different investigations. And he said he couldn't comment too much right now, but he said that if anybody else knows of any corruption or is involved in any sort of corruption, they need to come forward now. Wow.
All right, whatever. All right, so
Get your deal.
We all know that all these people they're dirty. But you got to go straight to the top, all right? Because Kathy Hochul is dirty too, all right? Because you really got to get to the root of everything, right? Because it runs so deep. And it's crazy how these things are happening. I mean, they should really look at California. If you know, the Fed should be looking into California.
Wow,
but I don't know. To me, it's just I'm not surprised actually. You know, I'm not really surprised at all that this is what's happening. I mean, look at when you read the comments here, for example. Look at that. Hochul needs to be investigated. She's corrupt. Eric Adams is a disaster. Yeah, I mean, New York is destroyed right now with the illegal migrants and all these services that are being rendered to them. And, you know, things need to change because the thing about it is that New York is already destroyed. And, you know, you're getting pieces of people out of there, pieces of shit people out of there, like Jamal Bowman out. I think AOC was voted back in by her constituents and stuff. So AOC could have easily been pushed out, but you guys are a bunch of dummies and kept her there. But it runs deep. You gotta really look at Hochul too. But yeah, I think Eric Adams. I think if as more and more people resign and quit, and he's losing all his people, his inner circle, all his people, and the amount of pressure as more and more city council people and even higher up into the Senate and all that starts pushing for him to resign. Oh, you better bet he's going to resign. All right, his ego is playing him right now, and he's not letting it happen because of his ego. But he's terrible. He's trash. All right, and he needs to go. All right, if New York wants to be saved, he needs to go. All right, so that's the whole thing about it. And again, if you look at everything that's been going on since this whole sanctuary city madness that started happening with the illegals being allowed in, that's where you started really seeing how bad things have become in New York, all right? And right now, all this feds investigating is really the tip of the iceberg, and you're going to see that there's probably they're probably found something on him. They just haven't said it yet, you know, because again, they wouldn't be doing this for nothing. So anyhow, I just want to give you guys the latest update on that. Let me know what you think, and comment down below. Is New York trash and terrible right now? Yeah, we all know it is. But it's the same in California. It's just there's no feds looking into California yet. But they should be. They should be really seriously looking into California. At least they're looking into New York. They should really look into California as well and see how dirty these politicians are. And really see that, again, the apple doesn't fall far from the progressive tree about how dirty these progressive politicians are. So other than that, yeah, comment down below, let me know what you think. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, and other than that, stay tuned for daily updates and daily content. I'll see you in the next one.